Hello. So you're asking a question about the relationship between electronegativity and the type of bonding between elements. There are, in this example, there are three types of bonds. So there's non-polar covalent bonds. So this is when the electronegativity difference, so En, is less than 0.4. Polar covalent, and this is when the electronegativity difference is between 0.4 and 2.0. And ionic, and this is when the electronegativity difference is above 2. And this is usually between a metal and non-metal. So, for example, let's start with the ionic one first. Let's use lithium. So, lithium has the En value of 1.0. So, everything, usually the ones on the left side, so in this diagram, it would be everything in the yellow. These are all metals. And the non-metals in this diagram are the elements in the green. So let's use fluorine, so that's F. It has a difference of 4.0. So when you subtract, so En equals 4 minus 1 equals 3. So the electronegativity difference is 3. Therefore, a bond between lithium and fluorine would be an ionic bond. So this is one way to check as well. You probably learned in a previous class that anything between a metal and a non-metal, this will make an ionic bond. Now for polar covalent, this is 0.4 and between 2.0. So this is between a non-metal and a non-metal that's a little bit further. And this is, so for example, if you do something like arsenic, which is 2.0, and potassium, which is 0.8. When you subtract these two, you're going to get an En value of 1.2, which falls under polar covalent. And an example of a non-polar covalent, so anything less than 0.4, would be something like, so phosphorus, which has 2.1, and arsenic, which is 2.0. When you subtract these two, you're going to get an En value of 0.1. Now, it's important to keep in mind that in this chart that I have, these values, they're rounded, and in the chart in your textbook or in your course, it might be different. Also, the numbers here that I'm using, so 0.4, 2.4, 2.0, 2.0, depending on your textbook, your teacher, and your course of study, it might be different as well, or there could be an additional classification.